One of my greatest memories as a player is walking into that huddle.
It's been 16 years since this school had a winning season.
Call out the snap count and that clap.
All season, they have been rolling over their opponents.
Blue 85, blue 85, set up, and let go of a ball that whistles through the air.
Touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
And the crowd goes wild.
California School for the Deaf Riverside made history tonight.
First time an entire team of deaf players is in the state football playoffs.
What if I didn't hear any of it?
The reason that I'm here is because all of you are inspiring me, and they're inspiring a whole bunch of people to see life differently than they see it before. I've got a son that has disabilities, and I know that everybody that looks at my son, the first thing they see is the disabilities. I watched you guys play football tonight. I didn't think one thing about any disability that anybody had. All I saw was your abilities. All I saw was your talent. Yes. You guys are showing the world to look at everybody, regardless of how we're different, by the abilities that they have. Don't stop doing that.
What was the state of the football program here at CSD Riverside when your dad took over?
Before my dad took over, the coaching wasn't what it needed to be. The team wasn't very good. There was no discipline. They'd always lose. And when my dad took over, I saw a change, a different attitude. I saw the motivation to play.
How much does your experience growing up shape the way that you coach now?
Ooh, yeah, big time. Just all my experiences growing up, the challenges, the frustrations, not being happy. I just don't want them to experience what I experienced.
Tell me what the dynamic was like in your household when you were young.
I was the only deaf individual in my family, and I thought that was normal. I'd get in the car, and I wouldn't know where we were going, and I just kind of went with the flow. Even though my family could sign, they weren't proficient in it. At the dinner table, my family would talk, and I'd be like, what's going on? What's being said? And they'd kind of, on the surface, explain it, but you miss a lot.
I know we're always, as parents, worrying about what our kids are going to miss out on. What went through your mind like, oh my gosh, he's not going to be able to experience?
I don't think I ever thought that. I think I thought, what do I need to do to help him experience those things? And I think it helped because I had Kirk first. So it was like, okay, I can see what Kirk can do. I want Keith to do those things too.
We were on a competitive ski team. Keith was really, really good. So it just translate. As we got older, you get into different sports.
He wanted to play soccer, and I signed him up for soccer, and I had this guy call and say, Keith is on my roster. I said, okay. And he goes, well, it says he's deaf. And I said, yes, he is. And he goes, well, how's he gonna play soccer? Well, I guess with his feet, like everybody else.
It's Faith Baptist versus the California School for the Deaf of Riverside. This is a CIF championship game. The first time for their entire athletics program in 68 years.
This is something special.
When did people actually start to believe that a state championship was possible?
Probably after our homecoming game. That team was good, and we beat them. And then we started feeling like, this is possible. We can do this.
We were just killing teams. We were winning. We played as a team. I just had that feeling that we could do it.
It is a victory for a group of deaf players in a sport where sound is typically crucial.
You can see it every game, there'd be more people. So the more you win, the more people want to come see you, and you saw it every game.
So much excitement, emotion. Is this really going to happen? It was forever on our minds.
We're getting all this recognition, and they were like, wow, okay, so we are a good team. I'm like, yeah, you guys are a good team.
The Cubs haven't lost a game. They're now the #1 8-player team in their division.
It put us on the map. It told people that we could play the game. It told the younger generation, it's all about your ability.
If people think that we can't, it doesn't matter. We proved that we can. We can excel to the championships. I feel like I'm on cloud 9. I'm in heaven at this point. I mean, I was like, seriously? This is truly what has happened? It's amazing.
I went to the California School for the Deaf in Fremont my freshman and sophomore year. Everybody signed, everybody was deaf. And so you get more friends, more access. Going to a mainstream school, you just didn't have those opportunities.
He played and had fun, but he's traveling back and forth, playing for a team that, doesn't quite have the expectations to win.
Gotcha.
And I think he looked at Lincoln and said, I want to be part of a winning team.
Back then, Lincoln High School was a powerhouse, good football program. They're league champs and Division I school.
Well, I remember his dad coming to me and saying, I have a son. He's a big defensive tackle, and he's at Fremont School for the Deaf, and he's head and shoulders above everybody there. I want to bring him by and let you look at him. So I remember we met in the stadium, and right away, here's this 6'3", 245-pound athlete, and we had him do some get-offs and just run around the field. And I said, if we can get him into the school, let's do it.
The school was hesitant. They didn't want, to do it, and they had just passed the law saying disabled kids could go to school, Unless somebody can show me a reason why you can't do this, then I say you can.
He made big plays. I remember in one specific game, Keith had made a sack, and he popped up, and he raised his arms, and the crowd was going crazy.
Yeah.
He was emotional.
That's cool.
And that was the first time I realized he understands the emotion of the game.
How was the transition outside of football for Keith?
So now he's lost all of his friends, all the people that he can really communicate with, and he's with, a group of guys that he grew up with, but they don't sign. They know a few signs here and there, and his interpreter was me, and my sign is not the greatest, so, he had to have felt somewhat isolated.
Yeah, a lot of time I was by myself. It was, lonely. The football family, they treated me well. Some students, didn't play football, would make fun of me. They would, call me mentally retarded or something.
A football team from a high school for the deaf is heading to the California State Championships.
But their opponent is pretty tough. Faith Baptist, a perennial favorite in 8-man football. If they were to win this game, it just demonstrates that no matter what disability you have, you can overcome.
Coach Keith Adams has done a great job. They're organized, they're disciplined, and I know a lot of coaches could take a lot from Coach Adams.
The state championship. Talk to me about what happens in the game.
Right off the bat, you can tell this team was definitely a high caliber team.
Yeah.
Thrown over on a rope. Another touchdown, Faith Baptist. So 28-0 the score here. Tough first quarter for the Cubs.
That moment, I was still, don't give up. You just got to keep fighting.
Trevin Adams, a big play, going the other way. It's Felix Gonzalez in for the score for CSDR.
The best high school play I've seen all season long. Wow, I love the trick plays.
I kept trying to fire them up. We got this, we can do this.
Trevin Adams finding his man, touchdown.
Look at the fans out there, look, it's packed.
Looks like a college game here.
Man, this is fantastic. Don't ever sleep on the Cubs. They're within 6, and an opportunity to get within 2 more.
Keith Adams' team pulling out all the stops here.
I was very confident. I was hungry, and I felt like we could do this.
That's going to be an easy touchdown here for Faith Baptist, so they answer back. Grabbed and intercepted. 6 more for Faith Baptist. Easy pitch and catch, and it's caught for the touchdown. Going out to the outside and scoring, my goodness. Throwing into the hands of Faith Baptist. Pick 6. Holy smoke. Faith Baptist are going to win another CIF title.
CSDR 12-1, but with that being said, this team fought all season long, and it's been just a truly remarkable scene.
You guys are on the map. You guys have a historical 12-1 football game. This has been great. 1 glitch, another championship game. Be proud of yourselves. Great job, guys. Don't be sad. I know it's a hard loss, but feel good about what you've done.
I felt down, you know? I wanted to win. But yeah, Coach Keith, my dad, he was really encouraging. He said, let's go. We have unfinished business. We have to keep going. He was really supportive, and he said, don't give up. We have next year, you know?
So you went off to Cal Poly to kind of fulfill your dream of playing college football. Tell me about the experience at Cal Poly.
I was excited, but still, compared with Lincoln's coach, it was more a business. It was serious, you know. The interpreting wasn't great. A lot of times, players, they focus on themselves at that level, and there's a lot of attitude and stuff.
At the end of the first school year, he said, Coach, I'm really not happy here. I'm lonely. I really don't have any friends. I think I want to leave.
So Keith transfers from Cal Poly to Gallaudet University, which is a school for deaf and hard of hearing.
He wanted to be around his friends and be able to communicate.
How tough was it to have to make that decision to chase what you love to do, or to choose having the community and having the friends and being able to connect with people?
I just felt my education, my happiness was a lot more important at that point than football.
Well, the Super Bowl created memories of a lifetime, including for a high school team from Riverside.
Yes, they were honorary captains during the Super Bowl coin toss.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the honorary captains for Super Bowl 56, the captains of the California School for the Deaf, Riverside Cubs.
Here's another good update for the California School for Deaf in Riverside. Today in Governor Newsom's revised budget, he proposed funding a new athletic complex, including a new football field for the school. Their current facilities remain almost completely untouched or updated for nearly 70 years.
What do you think that, as a coach, you've been able to do differently to give your kids and the kids that you coach a different experience than you had?
Just giving them the opportunity. I said I was here, I'm gonna be here forever, and I just, kept instilling that, this is gonna work.
Throughout Keith's journey, he either had a football community or a personal community. Never really seemed to have both. Don't you feel like that's what he's creating here?
Exactly. He's getting the two to work together.
My boys have that where Keith didn't have that.
I love it. So as they're able to thrive on the football field, they're able to thrive socially, they've got that full life.
Yes, definitely.
Do you still take on an underdog role? Do you feel like your players take on an underdog role every time they step out on the field?
Yeah, always, always. I notice a lot of hearing teams hate to lose to a deaf team. Hearing teams always underestimate us. How can we lose? I heard a coach say something, wow, we're losing to a deaf team. And I'm like, what? I'm like, we're just like you. But they constantly say that embarrassment, that feeling of losing to a deaf team.
You said you're gonna coach forever, but when it's all said and done and you walk off the sidelines for the last time, what do you want your legacy to be?
That I created a better community. I just hope that we could win the state championship before I retire.
They think because we're deaf, we can't compete. They don't know what's in our heart. For the first time in history, we're ranked #1 in the state. They think it won't last. They're wrong. They don't know what's in our heart.
Another chance to see, make it go away. Another chance to be, to live another day.
1 year after their devastating loss, California School for the Deaf Riverside returned to the state championship. Their opponent was Faith Baptist, the same program that beat them 74-22 in last year's title game.
These kids came to play.
The result?
Touchdown Cubs. Gets intercepted. Trevin Adams right there with the pick six.
California School for the Deaf Riverside 80, Faith Baptist 26. The Cubs became the first deaf football team from California to ever win a state championship.